Oh well. It's gonna be a tough post game to do because I actually passed out after the 5-second call, and then I came to, and I saw Julius Randle was being interviewed on my television screen. So I'm assuming they figured out a way to win, but I didn't. Kind of all went to black there for a minute. What a game! That's first one of those sorts of games of the year. Knicks had a lot of games like this last year. They won a lot of games like this last year, and I think more than any individual player, more than any play style or anything like that, it was their ability to win games like this. They lost some games like this last year, but their ability to win games like this, as Andrew tells me in the chat, the last Hawks game was like this. The last Hawks game wasn't quite like this for me, at least. This was more of a roller coaster ride, I think, than the first Hawks game this year. But every Hawks game to some extent is like this. But yeah, last year their ability to really win games like this and dig it out when they probably should not have. And I'm going to share something that I hope Benji doesn't mind. Benji put in our text chat a few minutes ago. Well, no, actually not a few minutes ago. He put it in the text chat when the Knicks were down 7 in the fourth quarter after someone hit a 3 and Atlanta had kind of really looked like they were going to maybe run away with the game, actually. He's like, the Knicks don't deserve to win this game. And this was not a game the Knicks deserved to win. And I'm just going to end the sentence right there. This was not a game the Knicks deserved to win. They were sloppy. They committed 17 turnovers, although it felt like more, maybe because the turnovers that they committed, some of them felt a little bit more egregious than usual. And Atlanta was good, man. Like just for a second, I know this is not just not Atlanta Film School, but the Hawks are a good team, and they're a frustrating team if you root for them, because they do have a tendency to lose games like this, and they make competitive games or they turn games that should be blowouts into competitive games. They win games they should lose. They lose games they should win, the whole thing. So it's not like the Knicks won a game against an elite team, but the Hawks are good. They've been good this year. And I thought they gave the Knicks real issues. I thought their game plan defensively after the first quarter, like the first quarter was a great quarter for the Knicks. Really tough to complain about anything. I think they ended the quarter up 11, 33-22. They were rolling. A lot of that on the back of Julius Randle. Just some really good Julius Randle shot making, Julius Randle play overall. We'll get back to him in a bit. And then from there, and the Knicks, by the way, Knicks didn't turn the ball over in the first quarter. From that point, the start of the second quarter until that, I'm not sure. I got to look up exactly when the minute mark was. It felt like it was about 5 minutes to go in the game when they got down 7. The Knicks they didn't play very well. They were very sloppy. They returned the ball over left and right. They kind of seemed a little lethargic. Like, it was funny. Shout out to all my Knicks Film School newsletter subscribers who joined me on the halftime show. At the end of the halftime, when I noted that, like, I thought this game was going to be a slog down the stretch, I actually said, well, both teams on the second night of a back-to-back, and Jason Meredith, shout out to Jason, he's awesome. I was like, the Knicks are on a back-to-back. I'm like, oh shit, they're not. And they had played with, the way they played in the second quarter, where they were just, it looks like they kind of lost a step from the first quarter, especially. I just felt like I was watching a team on the second end of a back-to-back. The Hawks didn't even play like they were on the second end of a back-to-back, really, throughout the whole game. And then it kind of continued throughout the third quarter. Knicks made a little push. It looks like they got another bit of a lead, and then the Hawks roared back again. And this was going to be an ugly post game. The only positive of this post game, the way this game was going, was like, hey, RJ Barrett, awesome, because the Knicks can't seem to win without him, because they were 3-0 and they were headed, or 0-3, and they were headed to 0-4 without him. And you saw his absence in this game. You saw his absence because and Benji said this after the Celtics game 2 nights ago. Not last night, 2 nights ago. That RJ not being in here puts so much pressure on Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. And Randle, again, I said it already, we're going to get to him. Randle did really well, did about as well as he could, I thought, with what the Hawks were throwing at him. Brunson was really struggling inside the arc, and he ended up, finding something. Ironically, what he found, with the exception of one big basket, was behind the arc. But yeah, I think, look, defenses have now had a full offseason. Coaching staffs have had a full offseason to game plan for this guy who received, like some MVP consideration last year. He got an MVP vote. Like that's a different animal than being Dallas's like third guy, kind of sometimes sixth man. And I think he's getting more attention. I think he could deal with it, but when you take RJ out, and especially when you put Josh Hart in, and it's so tough because you're like, all right, well, take Josh Hart out of the game because he's not a willing shooter and it really clogs the spacing. Well, then you're awfully small. And against a team like this, the Hawks, who, not as much as Boston, does bring a lot of length and can give, again, can give you some issues. Like you kind of need that wing size. And without RJ, like the only wing size you have is Josh Hart. So he needs to figure out ways to make himself effective if teams are not going to guard him on the perimeter. He did that late. We're going to get back. I want to go through a full run through. Let's go with run through of the last 5 minutes of the game, because I think it's worth it. It was a really special 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's cramped, when you have a non-spacing center or non-shooting center, and then, kind of Julius, teams know where he wants to operate. And then the real interesting part for this game was the loss of Quentin Grimes. And I probably should have brought that up at the top. Quentin Grimes left, I'm not exactly sure when he left. It was some point in the middle of the fourth quarter with some kind of a hand injury that he sustained when he fouled, I believe it was DeJounte Murray on a layup attempt. And we don't know anything about the severity of that now. I assume we'll learn more tonight or tomorrow. Didn't look great, but we'll see. He's their one guy. He's their one guy who is a like catch and that's what he wants to do. He wants to catch and shoot the ball. And I don't want to spend too much time on Grimes because there are bigger things to talk about in this game. But like I actually didn't love what we saw from Grimes throughout the game. I thought he needs to give you a little bit more. And shooting was fine, but like there are opportunities for him to make plays with the ball, and he kind of doesn't always. He ended this game 4-10, 3-7 from deep. So an okay game. Where you really miss Grimes though, and this is going to be my transition to the end of the game is, and it really showed up, is the point of attack defense. And again, shout out to Benji Ridholtz. He put it in our text chain a little while ago. You saw it late when, whether it was Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, really getting anywhere that they wanted to go on the floor. Really, it was Trae Young, because like that's Grimes' assignment. Grimes goes on Trae. And it was Quickley, and Quickley's a very gifted defender, but his gift is more off-ball defense and making things happen off the ball and being where he needs to be before anybody else realizes he needs to be there. On ball, he's not quite as strong, and that almost came back to bite the Knicks in the ass late when Trae got going. Thankfully, Trae missed a big free throw, and the Hawks didn't make enough plays down the stretch. Murray also had a big miss thanks to Mitchell Robinson. So, yeah, I mean, just a lot going on in this game, and I want to give some shout outs, and then maybe I'll save the last 5 minutes, going through the last 5 minutes, because I want to get to the super chats. I'm gonna start with the guy that I've started more of these post games with this year than anyone, and that's Mitchell Robinson. And look, you could start with Randle. Certainly start Randle. Best game of the season. After, like, this is now 3 games in a row where he's had his best game of the season. I think Randle's back. I think it's safe to say. Great Randle game. Great Quickley fourth quarter. Good Quickley game. Great Quickley fourth quarter. Although before the fourth, he had a couple of turnovers that were frustrating and a couple of offensive possessions that looked a little uncertain. He more than made up for it in the fourth. Really gutty Jalen Brunson performance. When he just, nothing was going inside the arc. But he still found a way to make sure his team won this game. because nobody cares about winning more than Jalen Brunson. And that's why, above all the basketball stuff, like, that's why you want Jalen Brunson on your basketball team. But I'm going to start with Mitch because, man, I've run out of things to say. It's not even about the stat line. I mean, what did he finish with? 6 points? Okay. 3 steals and a block. 15 rebounds, 6 on the offensive glass. Last year, Jalen Brunson was the thing that brought the Knicks to a new level as a team, because they, we said it, national media folks said it, everybody said it. Now the Knicks have a guy. This year, I mean, obviously Jalen Brunson's still at the top of the scouting report, and like teams know they need to cut the head off the snake. But what Mitchell Robinson is doing to every team except the Celtics, who have the kind of the one real Mitch neutralizer in the league. Thank God we only see them twice again this year. But what he is doing against 28 other basketball teams, and like tonight, like that was Clint Capella, man. That was Clint Capella, and that was the 6th-ranked offense in the league. And like, as dangerous a pick and roll attackers you're going to find. Like, the Hawks are like, Clint Capella's no joke, man. And Mitchell Robinson's just, I mean, he's just out there ragdolling people. And he's been doing it all year, and he just keeps upping the ante as far, like, I'm not saying we're taking it for granted, but it's, I see a thumbs up bubble next to my head. Did Andrew do that? But what Mitchell Robinson is doing, like, you kind of almost do take it for granted, where it's like, oh, okay, don't worry. If we miss, Mitch will be there to either put it back or grab the offensive rebound. If he's near the ball, he's going to get it. No one else is going to get it. It's his timing. It's his strength. It's the physicality plus the strength. It's obviously the athleticism. It's his hands. He has great hands to grab these rebounds that he's grabbing. And, like, needless to say, that I don't even know if they're in this game late without Mitchell Robinson. And, like, wow, just for him to get to this, I know I've said this before. I'm a broken record at this point, but I have to repeat myself, because it is, everybody has their stuff, right, that they love. Everybody has their stuff that they latch onto, and that gives them the warm and fuzzies as a fan. Seeing this kid, and I still call him a kid because I'm an old man, so I could kind of do that. And I don't even, is he 25? Yeah, whatever. He's 24, 25. That, I mean, not that nobody gave him a chance, but like was just kind of like looked at a very particular way when he came into the league as a guy who was like, maybe was he going to try to get by on talent, to just continue putting in the work and turn himself into, I mean, I don't know. Is he the most indispensable Knick this season? That it feels like a lot, but it's also feels deserved. And just play after play after play. The biggest one, obviously, and I guess I will start digging into the last 5 minutes of the game. There was 2, actually. So during the comeback, actually 3 plays. So after IQ hit the runner to make it 101-99, the Knicks were still down 2. Next possession, that was a stretch. Like, the Knicks needed to take the lead there. When they got down 7, they had to keep the run going until they took the lead. Once they took the lead, the Hawks got the lead back, but at least that you got the lead. There's something to getting the lead to because the other team, we've been in the other position before, where teams push and push and push and make a run, but if you never give up the lead, there's something about that feels notable. So they needed to take the lead. There was they went to the pick and roll, and Jalen Brunson also played great defense on this play, but I thought Mitch was outstanding on the defensive possession. And then on the other way down the floor, it was someone missed a shot, and Mitchell Robinson got on the damn floor. Dove on the damn floor, kept his control, didn't go out of bounds because it was right by the baseline. Got the ball, threw it. Smart, heady play. Right? Like, again, talk about things you didn't think you were going to be saying about Mitchell Robinson in year 6 when he was a rookie or a first year or second year player, making smart, heady plays. Immediately got the ball out to, I forget who was there on the corner. It might have been Brunson, but it ended up actually, I don't think it was Brunson. It was somebody else. The ball ended up going to Brunson who made the three, and that was the second one. And then a couple of possessions later, IQ drew some fouls, made 3 of 4 before he made the 2 late. So he made 5 of 6 down the stretch. Good job, Immanuel, quickly hitting your free throws. And then that's after the second Jalen Brunson 3 off a great pass from Julius Randle. The next time down the floor, when it was a real back and forth affair, and someone needed to get a stop. Who got the stop? But it was Mitchell Robinson blocking DeJounte Murray on a drive. And DeJounte Murray, for anybody who doesn't watch the Hawks a lot, he's kind of their closer. There's a reason why he was the one, getting those mid-range shots time and time again. That's not an uncommon occurrence. He gets the ball a lot because he's so deadly from the mid-range. And yeah, so that's my Mitch love. Couple of things, and then we'll get to the super chats. I mentioned Randle again or already. I'll say it again. It's his best game of the season. I thought he played within himself, and I really want to praise. I mean, look, you could nitpick a couple of shots, maybe. I really don't think Randle forced it at all tonight, and we talk about Julius as this kind of. You're taking your life in your hands, right? With him, with how he goes about his business sometimes. I thought he made a real step up last season. A lot of people attributed that to Jalen Brunson. And this year now, in this game, Brunson's having a terrible game inside the arc. And so if there was ever a game for Julius to be like, I got this. And I didn't feel like Julius forced anything down the stretch. The shots he took, I thought were good shots. I thought they were good process. And he made a few of them down the stretch, obviously. And made some nice passes too. I talked about Quickley not only hitting his free throws, but I mean, look, are they in this game if Immanuel Quickley doesn't go on a personal 5-0 run there? Those 5 points might get lost in the sauce afterwards. I think they were the biggest 5 points of the game for my money because they were dead. They were dead in the water. This game was over when they were down 7. And Quickley was like, nope. And how did it start off? It starts off how it always starts off, with a Quickley 3. How many times does an Immanuel Quickley 3-point shot be like, man, did they need that? This game would be over if they didn't have that. Or this other team would have gone and ran away with this game if they didn't have that. And he always seems to make those. But probably maybe selective memory. By my 2 cents, he always seems to make those. I talked about Josh Hart a little bit. And the only thing I want to note there is like, yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Freudian slip. It hurts the spacing when he's out there. There's no two ways about it because he's not comfortable shooting in big spots always. Sometimes he is, not all the time. And you have to figure out ways to make yourself effective. When they had the wide open 3 late in the fourth quarter there, that was the possession. The Knicks possession right before Quickley fouled the Trae Young on the 3. That's the one knock on Quickley in this game. Can't do that. Can't get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Hart made a runner because, like, okay, you're not going to guard me. I'm going to take the runway. I'm going to make something happen. And to his credit, he did. So great job there. He also got a big offensive rebound down the stretch. And yeah, well, I mean, I'll finish it up by just, Jalen Brunson. When it comes to the big moment, who's your closer? It's Jalen Brunson. He took the mid-ranger, and he made the mid-ranger, and that was really should have been the end of the game. Of course, this is the Knicks, so we had a couple heart attacks late. Julius Randle, what are you doing in the backcourt? Getting stuck in the corner. Oh, my God. Saw my life flash behind my eyes there with 8 seconds left. And then, of course, Donte DiVincenzo, who Thibs put in to inbound the ball, couldn't do the thing he was supposed to do. And thank goodness, Jalen Brunson, again, there's Jalen Brunson making big plays. Heads up play to foul DeJounte Murray, not let him get off a 3-point attempt. Look, good teams find ways to win games when they are not at their best. The Knicks were not at their best tonight. And they found the way to win the game because they came through with a lot of big plays. Josh Hart, Immanuel Quickley, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and, of course, Mitchell Robinson. Big plays up and down the board. They needed every one of them. Again, I'll just say it. This is a good team they beat tonight. Is a important win. You know, again, a lot of people have talked about what the league did to them with this schedule, with the back-to-backs and the how many, whatever it is, 5 games and what was it, 4 games in 7 days or something insane. It's a lot of games in a short period of time, and it's pretty crazy. And they should win the next couple before they go into Minnesota. Is there a schedule loss in there? We'll see. Hopefully not. But like, every bit of breathing room counts. I know it's early in the season. Every bit of breathing room counts. So yeah, I know it's game 11. I think this was a big game. I think this was a big win. And it's a win we should feel good about. You know, you're not always going to be perfect, but we take what we could get. Okay. I've talked for over 20 minutes. That's way too long. I apologize for that. Let us get to whatever people want to talk about. I'm sure it's going to be a festive one tonight. I am ready. Andrew Claudio, whenever you want to start us off. Kevin Danishevsky gets us going. Good to go 2-0 against that team on the road. Yeah, 2-0 against the Hawks, both on the road. Great call. Great call, Kev. Good way to start us off. The 8-0 run with IQ as the catalyst was dope. I thought the game was over. Me and you both. JB, big plays late. Julius ran a good game. Yep. Perfect synopsis, Kev. Really don't have anything to add there. And IQ the catalyst. You could make that his nickname because he is a catalyst. He always seems to be the catalyst. So that's one of the reasons he's so valuable. Thanks, Kev. JewAnon, what's going on, JewAnon? Getting in early. We don't usually see you this early. We officially have a baseline for the best win of the year. Gonna go ahead and steal that. Thank you, JewAnon. I completely agree. And I know last year it became kind of a running joke at one point where it was like every additional game was like, this is the best win of the year. No, now this is the best win of the year. No, this is the best win of the year. My guess is it probably stays that way for a while. This was fun. Here's the question I have. If Grimes is hurt, it took us 2 questions to get to this. Then what's the game plan? Start DiVincenzo and give Deuce spot minutes, a trade. I hope no Levine. Well, NBA trades don't happen before. Couple things. NBA trades don't happen in November. They don't really. It's everybody says December 15th, but like so much of the league.
Hold on. There's a very important clarification about NBA trades that you got to make.
What?
NBA trades that don't involve James Harden don't happen.
Also, your volume is very low. It might be me, but I don't know. It might be you.
Okay, I am trying, everybody. Everybody says I'm yelling too much. I have my mic far away from me. Is my mic better now, John?
Sure. I still can't.
It's still bad? Okay.
You're not? Okay. Yes.
I'll fix stuff. John's got it, okay? John's got it.
The James Harden trade was a summer trade that lasted into the season. Other than that, or weird scenarios like that, trades don't happen really until January 15th. It's not even December 15th. It's January 15th. Because, I know it's like in the grand scheme of things, it's not that many players in the league that become trade eligible after January 15th, but it's enough players every Andrew says, so is the Harden trade to Brooklyn. All Harden trades violate these rules. There's enough players on enough teams where, if you, let's say you want to, just for argument's sake, let's say the Knicks wanted to make a trade, which I actually don't think they do, as I'll get to in a second, but let's say they wanted to, and they had a guy they're looking for, that team, unless the Knicks are going to blow them away, which is not how the Knicks do business, they're going to wait until they could canvass the entire league and everybody can get in on the bidding, and everybody can't get in the bidding until all of their players are trade eligible. And so again, what is it? It's November. Yeah, we're 2 months away. So this is not a trade thing. I do think if Grimes is out and assuming RJ, so it's 2 different conversations. If RJ is back, I think you're going to see an 8-man rotation with however many minutes we got from Deuce tonight, maybe, if that. If RJ is the missed time, then Deuce gets a rotation spot. And it's probably only 10 to 12. It's the Obi minutes, right? It's 10 to 12 minutes a game. Again, this is if Grimes is out and RJ is out. That's the direction I think they go. I do think I really do think he likes having Quick off the bench because I think he likes the optionality that gives him. And especially if you're down Grimes, then you'd be leaving your bench with DiVincenzo. And you'll be leaving your bench with if again in the world where it's no RJ, no. Well, no, hold on. Now I'm getting myself confused. If it's no Grimes and no RJ, then yeah, Hart starts. I think DiVincenzo starts, and then Quick is your super sub, along with Deuce and Hartenstein. Stein, excuse me. If RJ's back, I still think Quickley comes off the bench, and DiVincenzo starts. Yeah, because it's the catch and shoot of it all, right? And it allows you to stagger your 4 initiators if you keep Quick coming off the bench. If you start Quick, you lose that ability to stagger. And as we've seen a million times, just because you don't start Quick doesn't mean you can't close a Quick. So yeah, I think DiVincenzo gets a start. And as for Levine, I don't think the Knicks are going to be in on Levine. I'll just say that flatly. We got there eventually. Thanks, JewAnon. HushZ, still shaky at the end of the game. However, Snyder sitting Bey and Bogi, what an odd decision. I think that move helped us get back, but overall, great win. Yeah, I'm sure, the fine folks at HawksFanTV are going to have some things to talk about tonight. Cheers to them. Bogdanović was like, that's, again, I was thinking about this game midway through when it looked like this is not heading in the right direction. I was like, well, like Randle's having the best Knick game, the best game of any Knick, and even he's not like on fire. He's good. He's really good. Like really, really good game for an all-star player, right? Nobody else was really having a good game. Like Quickley was okay. He was efficient, but he was also kind of sloppy and a little indecisive at times. Brunson was having a bad game. You didn't have RJ. And here's Bogdanović, and like the Atlanta guys were doing fine, and Bogdanović is going off. So it was like, okay, well, they have the guy that's having the insanely good game. And yet, as I look at this, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young combined for only 10 field goals. Granted, Trae Young got to the line 9 times. The Hawks in general got to the line a lot. The one thing I will say, the whistle was not a fair whistle tonight. It was an Atlanta friendly whistle, without question. But yeah, they kind of went away from Bogi, and it definitely helped. Definitely helped. That dude's. I think he was my. If I wrote like something in the newsletter where I was like, if I was gonna bet on this award, I'd probably bet Bogi to win for 6th man of the year. Thanks, Hush. Steven Giame. This game may have taken some years off my life. Someone get RJ some Excedrin. Yeah, they need him. They need him. They need him. They need him. It's. I don't know what else to say. This team needs RJ Barrett. It's the best compliment I can give them. They're not the Knicks without RJ Barrett. They found a way to win tonight, but they're not the Knicks without RJ Barrett. Thanks, Stevens. Robert Cross. Robert was getting a little chirpy in my DMs earlier tonight. I'm like, settle down. The Hawks could score in bunches. This game's a long way from over. It's your boy John. Just like we discussed earlier today, this team always responds in big spots. Hashtag 53 wins. Yes, we did discuss that, and yes, they do. I'm like, don't want to make a huge deal out of this. I think it's part of their DNA. But I'm going to like try to resist the temptation to give credit to Thibs here, because Thibs coached the team 2 years ago, and that team couldn't win a big game to save their life. So, you're only as good as the players you have. I think Brunson's a big part of it. And Quickley's a big part of it. I just think collectively, I think the organization, and I'll give Thibs a little bit of credit for this, but just up and down the organization, I do really think that there is just a real air of professionalism, and like they seem to have gone after players who do not get rattled and are capable of performing in big spots. Let's use those words. And oftentimes they do. Thanks, Robert. Jessica, what's going on, Jessica? Thick of the evening when the fourth got rough. Too pat to open and too cool to bluff. I feel terrible. I don't know the song lyrics you're referring to. Maybe you could put it in the chat and Andrew could convey to me. As I picked up my matches and was closing the door, I had one of those flashes. I'd been there before. See, you're so good with all the classics of our musical, of our discography, our collective discography as a country, and I am not. Spent many years as a DJ, but I wasn't spinning records like this, sadly. But great line. I love it. It's completely appropriate. And I hope all the people out there who know the lyrics are laughing at the fact that I don't know what lyrics these are from. Thanks, Jess. There's another one from Jessica. The last super chat I sent was how I felt during the fourth. I was so unsure how that was ending. It felt familiar, too familiar. Well, you got that right. This teammate, look, they always do make things interesting. And it's just like the weirdest shit. Like, Dante DiVincenzo should be able to inbound the ball. Like, Thibs knows how to draw up an inbounds. And it's just like, I also thought that was a quick 5 seconds. For what it's worth. I thought that was a quick 5 seconds. That was like 4.5. And look, I have to say, when you have Julius Randle on your team, things are always going to be interesting. But that was the other play down the other end. Thanks, Jessica. You're the best. Yes.
Hey, how's my mic?
It's okay. I think it's a little better.
It's a little better. Okay. It's Grateful Dead is the song.
Okay. Yeah. That was she sent me she sent in a Grateful Dead lyric a few days ago.
Yeah. The Scarlet, or not it's Facebook, so it's just Scarlet Begonias.
Are you Deadhead? Is that what they're called? Deadheads, right?
They are Deadheads. I'm not a Deadhead. No.
Okay.
Assuming Jessica is, though. So shout out to Jessica. Glad we could clarify that.
I feel like being a Deadhead, like you can't, like you have to be cool to be a Deadhead. There's no way to like not be cool. And like Bill Walton's a Deadhead, obviously. There's no one cooler than Bill Walton.
So we're not cool, is what you're saying.
Well, I know I'm not cool. I'm not going to speak for you.
I'll co-sign. No, I'm not cool. I'm fun, but I'm not cool. And you're neither.
I'm neither fun nor cool.
There you go.
Glad we established this. Drew P. felt like 21-22. F the Hawks, Trae. We need RJ. Drew P. I feel like you're mostly positive. It's all kind of negative. I don't know that it felt like 21-22. I got to be honest. That game was just like, to me, that was like 21-22, the Kemba year, for anybody who's like wondering. That was that year had such its own like kind of flavor where it was like, if something could go wrong, it would go wrong. Like the Knicks didn't have a 20-point. Like the Knicks weren't dominating and then forgot how to play basketball. Like they had a really strong first quarter and then they just kind of got a little sloppy. It wasn't like they got up big and then another team like started to do some stuff right and then they just like completely forgot how to do everything. It was like they were sloppy, you know? Brunson was like a little uncertain with the ball. He's missing some shots he usually makes. Quickley was a little uncertain with the ball. Like that, they cooled off a little bit from three. That was I'll say this, like I wasn't gonna get on if they lost that game. I wasn't gonna get on here and like lose my shit. I am sure it was gonna be a rough post game if they wound up losing that game, either the way they were trending to lose it with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, or if they figured out a way to lose it late. Either way, it was gonna be bad. But like, I don't know. Like watching that first quarter, watching the last 5 minutes, like this is a good team. This team has. Here, I'll say this. This team has good bones. The 21-22 team had shit bones. Brittle bones, to use them, I guess, to complete the analogy. This team has good bones. They're not fully there yet. And again, they're missing RJ. Right? And you said that. We need RJ, right? We need RJ. So I agree with you on that. Dom the Dentist, who I caught some of his comments in the the chat. Shout out again to all the newsletter subscribers in the Substack chat app. Come subscribe to the Knicks Film School newsletter. It's the price of a cup of coffee, and you get a month's worth for that price, and 5 newsletters a week, and you get to hear Dom go crazy in the daily chat that we have during games and in between games and the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. Love Grimes, hope he's okay. But aside, I'm interested to see the closing lineup with IQ and Brunson as starters for an extended period of time. Let's go Knicks. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but you wrote, I'm interested to see that closing lineup with IQ and Brunson as the starter. Okay, now I get what you did. All right. You basically want to see Quickley as a starter. Look, it's their best combination. I completely agree with that. I don't think anyone would dispute that it's their best combination of players. The thing you're losing, I think, is Grimes a better catch and shoot player than Quickley? Yes. Do they probably need that catch? Is that catch and shoot ability the most, maybe more important for their starting lineup than it might otherwise be? If you're like balancing, there's like Quickley's a much better player than Grimes at this point. But like between the catch and shoot and the point of attack defense, it just makes so much sense to have Grimes there. And again, I keep going back to like, you do get to see it. Anytime there's a close game, you see it, right? Like, that's going to be the closing lineup for the rest of this year, assuming all those guys are having a good game. And that's the other thing. And I don't know if I've mentioned this. Maybe someone else has. If someone's mentioned this, let me know and I'll give you credit. When you don't start IQ with the other three, when it's not Brunson, Quickley, RJ, and Randle and Mitch with the starting 5, I think bringing Quickley off the bench gives all of those guys more of a fair shot to get into a rhythm throughout the game. Because if you're starting all of them, you're just not going to be able to stagger them as much. There's no way. Because you're not like, it's not like you're going to start all of them and like pull someone with 4 minutes into the game or 5 minutes into the game. Like consistency breeds effectiveness. Like Thibs has always done this, and I think it's a good thing. Like you run your starters out there and you leave them out there for whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 minutes, more than that even sometimes. And if you do that and you have all 4 of those guys, there's only one ball. So it's really going to limit the ability, at least now the way you have it, where you have, okay, RJ gets the quickest hook. So it's Brunson and Randle. Brunson and Randle obviously are going to be able to get into a groove. RJ, if he wasn't able to get into a groove next to Brunson and Randle, he comes back in with the subs, and oh wait, here comes Quickley in right around when RJ goes out, or for RJ or right after. So then it's Quickley who's the third guy, and then one of Brunson or Randle will go out, and then so Quickley gets more responsibility, and then eventually to be Quickley and RJ. You're really giving all 4 of those guys a really good chance to get into, I keep using the same term, I don't know what better term to use, get into a groove. And so it gives you a feel as the game goes on, like, okay, are all of these guys feeling it tonight? Is it 3 of these guys? Is it 2 of these guys? And I don't know, I kind of like that. I look, this is probably more of a devil's advocate point than anything else, but I don't know. I like it the way it is. Thanks, Tom. Alex, 7-man rotation. I think we're up for it. Nah, Deuce will play. He won't. He'll play 12 minutes, but he'll play. Thanks, Alex. Bill Peterfriend. What's going on, Peter? Bill Peterfriend. Great win. No Grimes and RJ. Impact or trade. Impact or trade. I'm not sure what that. Again, no trade is coming anytime soon. But if they don't have Grimes and RJ, it's a bit they can't. I'll say this. Let's just for argument's sake, who are they playing the next 2? They're playing, I think, the Wizards and the Hornets. No, yeah, Wizards and the Hornets. The next 2 games. Andrew, if they're not playing the Wizards and the Hornets, let me know.
They're playing the Wizards and the Hornets.
Thank you. Washington on Friday night and Charlotte. Could I see them losing one of those games if they don't have RJ or Grimes for both? Like, it could. I'm not sure I'd bet on it. I don't know. I kind of think they'll, even without those guys, like, look, we praise Deuce up and down as like, not everybody, but a lot of people do, is like, is he the best guy in the league that doesn't currently have a rotation spot? You make the argument. So he should be able to come in and be effective for 5 minutes a half or 6 minutes a half or whatever the case may be. It changes up your team. You lose a little bit of size. You get a little smaller. It's a little bit trickier, but hey, man, you make the talent work for you. And I think they have enough. Thanks, Bill.
Let's get one thing clear.
Yeah.
They could start Jericho Sims on Friday. They're going to win.
Listen, man. Wizards have 3 wins?
2. They're 2-9.
They're 2-9. I had theirs was the only game on tonight before the Knicks game started, so I was watching that. It looked briefly like they were going to give up 50 points to the Mavs in the first quarter.
Without Kyrie.
And then the Mavs kind of let their foot off the gas again before the first quarter was over. Every NBA team. Are the Wizards the worst NBA team? Probably. Every NBA team is good enough right now because we are, however many years we are away from expansion. Every NBA team is good enough that, like, you can't fuck around with them, you know?
You can't fuck around. And a Tom Thibodeau team in this day and age does not fuck around as much as the team from 2 years ago, like you said before. My point, if there's a fuck around team, it's the Wizards. Especially after the game. I know you respect every opponent that the Knicks play.
Have to respect every opponent.
I do not expect the Wizards, okay? I think they could show up with their... I think we could get minutes on Friday, is my point. And we're not fun or cool.
I hope... Yeah, no, we're not. I hope those are not famous last words. Go get the win. That's what I'll say.
Yes.
Thanks, Bill. Dom, what's going on, Dom? I love winning in the A. Speaking of, I was checking YouTube all day for the pregame pod. Did HawksFanTV really ghost GMAC? I want to spill some tea. So my understanding of what happened is that no, I was gonna make a joke that I won't.
Go ahead,
Andrew, why don't you? What?
Well, no, like RJ got off to this incredible start to the season, and HawksFanTV, the last time Alex was here, was he was very much RJ is like a C in 2K, and that's all he'll ever be. That's his ceiling. And RJ's been incredible. They're the Knicks' best player. They're top plus minus of the season, and they're 0-3 without him. And my man Alex decided to duck the smoke. And while he agreed originally to come back at the last minute, says, I cannot face the Knicks film school faithful. And, we'll see what happens in March if the Hawks are playing for lottery odds and the Knicks are closer to the 1 seed than they are the 6 seed, if he's willing to come back around then. Shout out to Mike Boy in the comments. Squawk Fan TV as
Squawk
as
Fan
an appropriate
TV.
nickname. Yeah, Squawk Fan TV. Shout out to Trae Young and the Young fan. I will say this. Shout out to Trae Young and his family. They just had a new child.
Yes.
So blessings to them. And on the day you were born, your dad lost to the Knicks. So the day after you were born, your dad lost to the Knicks.
And even bigger shout out to HawksFanTV. One of these days, people are going to give a shit about that basketball team. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
About that basketball team.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
One day. It's not today. Just real quick, it's not today.
Tomorrow.
Since 2021, when y'all made that miracle run to the conference finals and when we had open gyms, you haven't made it past the first round. But one day, a star's coming.
Give a shit about them then.
Yeah. We were all looking up like, oh, so this is the worst conference finals ever. Got it. Anyway.
Oh, goodness. Love you, HawksFanTV.
Real quick, Alex is actually a good dude. Like, shout out to Alex. He had work this morning. That's why we'll take behind the curtain. He had a work meeting pop up. Wish you the best, except I wish you the worst.
Wish your team the worst, yes.
Yes. Wish you the worst, you the best, your team the worst. Well done.
Except not injury. We're not wishing injury, just to clarify.
To be clear, we do not wish a single Hawk player injury. We went down that road, and we mended those fences. We hope the Hawks have a very horrible but healthy rest of the season.
I don't want any Hawk player to ever miss a game due to injury
I want
for the rest of their lives.
82 games for every Hawk, okay? I hope all Hawks, not Atlanta Hawks, the birds, none of them get hurt going forward. We want to avoid any misunderstanding. Like, go health Hawks, but I hope you lose every game the rest of the season.
Jeremy Chase. What's going on, Jeremy? How you doing? Breen is the GOAT, but Gus is an A+ sub. Let's freaking go Knicks. I thought Gus was good tonight. Hartenstein versus Hartenstein. Shout out Fred Katz. That was a journey. Yeah, he was good. Gus is good. Gus is a professional announcer, but you know, you can tell he's not a Knicks announcer. You know, so I liked him though. It was good. Wally had his moments. Thanks, Jeremy. Haitian Ferg, what's going on, brother? Mitch and Hart are the unsung heroes tonight. I'm glad you shouted out Hart. Hart, I thought I said it in the first half. I texted our group and I was like, Hart seems really active tonight. And I actually want to look up his stat line so I could give him a more appropriate shout out.
Oh, you don't need to. I have it for you, memorized. Because for betting and sweating tonight, I took over Josh Hart, points, rebounds, and assists, 22.5. And he finished with 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 22 total. 1 more rebound, 1 more assist, 1 more point, and I would have hit the over.
Damn.
Yeah.
You don't get credit for the block? You can't do that? No?
Nope. I even said he forced 2 jump balls in like 2 possessions. I should get credit for that, but no. Points, rebounds, assists.
Yeah, and let me finish reading Haitian's comment. They made up the difference in bench scoring on the glass and gave us plenty of second chances. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, Hart, 2 offensive rebounds. Mitch, 6 offensive rebounds. Randle, 2 offensive rebounds. I thought Randle had 10 rebounds tonight. I thought he was really good on the boards. I didn't say it before, but there was a moment, the missed Trae free throw. I want to go back rewatch it because it seemed like Randle really timed the rebound well and really it seemed like it was a contested rebound. I want to go back and see that again. But yeah, look, people with Hart, they're always going to focus on the 3-point shooting. How many did he take? How many did he make? He's 4 of 10, 1 of 5 from deep. He does a lot of good things. He's a winning basketball player. And I again, how many times do I always do this? Shout out to Benji for saying it after the Celtics game. Hart's kind of a diminishing returns player. Like, you love him if he's playing 25 minutes a night for your basketball team. You love him a lot less if he's playing like 30 to 35 minutes a night for your basketball team. And you really love him and this is not the reality with the Knicks, but if you could get him in like a situation where he's like you have a stretch 5 or even a playmaking 5, which is why I still think the Knicks backup group when RJ's back, so Hart, RJ, Quickley, DiVincenzo, and Hartenstein, will be really good because again, Hartenstein's not a stretch 5, but he's a playmaking 5, and that gives Josh Hart, a little bit more space and room to work, which is important for him because he could do a lot with that space. Thanks, Haitian. Always appreciate you, man. Jessica, I second everything Haitian Berg said. Amen. You guys are, you're the 2 people who I always agree with, so it's not surprising that you would agree with each other. Robert Cross, first time, long time, John. How do you feel about McBride and Sims not playing hardly at all? Does Thibs not trust these guys? Hashtag 53 wins. I don't see why they would have needed to play tonight. Like, we talk. I don't mean to go off. I'm not going off on you. I'm going to watch my tone. I said, and other people said all summer, that this team, the 9-man rotation, had was already over the minutes. Like, if you go through all their minutes and you look at their minutes average from last season, basically like putting aside Dante DiVincenzo and just looking at the other 8, they were at there are 240 minutes to be played in an NBA basketball game. They're at the 240. And then you add in DiVincenzo, who averaged whatever he averaged last season, 24, 25, 26 minutes. So they were like a full player over. So if they're down a guy, to me, like going to essentially an 8-man rotation is like the obvious move. I don't know why. Like, you already have this minutes crutch. You already have this situation where guys who are used to playing more can't get into a rhythm really, or they have trouble getting into a rhythm, and they have trouble getting the amount of minutes they're used to. Like why would you exacerbate that issue just to bring a McBride? Or, I mean, the Sims thing makes no sense to me, because like, why do you need Jericho Sims on this team? The team's already the best defensive rebounding team in the league, so it's not like you need the size. You're putting in good perimeter defenders, so it's not like you're losing something there. Sims gives you nothing on offense. So like, the Sims, I don't even know why he's here. If anything, it's a McBride thing. And like, you bring it down to 7 men, then yeah, bring McBride in. Give McBride his 12 minutes, or maybe even a little bit more than that. But like, the whole benefit of the depth of this team is that you have guys like Brunson, Randle, Quickley, Josh Hart. Like, these guys are well capable of playing 35 minutes a night. I think DiVincenzo can play 30 like it's nothing. And then you got your centers. So, you have enough. You do. So I didn't feel any type of way about it, but I'm sure people did. HAITIAN with another one. Knicks were probably at Magic City last night. I gotta go to this place, man. Because I love chicken wings. I don't like strip clubs. I love chicken wings. I don't know if I've ever said this on the pod before. Probably not. Was never at a strip club in my life until my bachelor party, when my groomsmen forced me to go to, and I had my bachelor party in Vegas. Wasn't like, and they all knew that I wanted no part of this. It's not a thing that I just don't feel comfortable. And so they took me to like, not something like a fancy. I don't know what fancy strip clubs are in Vegas. I'm assuming there are many, but we went to this place like the old Vegas. Not like the Strip. It's like old Vegas, where there's like this thing overhead. And I remember the name. It was called Glitter Gulch. Let me tell you, folks working inside Glitter Gulch looked like that was the appropriate place for them to be working. I'll just say that. Andrew, we should take a trip to Vegas. When we go for Summer League next summer, you want to visit Glitter Gulch?
Sure, John. Just a couple of happily married men enjoying the scene.
My wife got a kick out of it when I told her. So
good.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, Magic City. Yeah. So maybe the Knicks were experiencing their own Glitter Gulch last night. Too many chicken wings, whatever the case may be. All jokes aside, love the timeout with 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, moment of the game. Yeah. Whenever that timeout was, they kind of, reset it and got him back on track. I don't know what the hell Thibs said in there, but Andrew says KFS road trip.
People have been wanting it for years. Well, I was saying to Atlanta.
Oh, for Magic City.
Not Glitter Gulch, to Magic City, exactly.
So I have a serious question. I don't know if you know, or maybe some of our people watching know the answer to this. Because they do have very good chicken wings, correct?
That's the rumor.
Okay.
What's it called? What's his name? Guy Lou Williams was like violated COVID rules because he went to Magic City to get chicken wings. I forget what the thing was, but I remember there were he went to Magic City and he was like, "Hey man, I just wanted chicken wings." Innocent Halo, yes. But
so let's say hypothetically, you're someone that is a fairly recently married man, and also perhaps someone who is into the faith and all of those sorts of things, and doesn't feel, maybe even has a reverend for a dad, and doesn't feel completely comfortable in a strip club situation.
Yeah.
Do they have wait staff who will bring you your chicken wings to tables outside, and will the wait staff be fully clad?
Well said, first of all. This is why DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub exists.
No, because no.
Why?
I'd rather because then the wings are not as fresh. Gotta have fresh. We gotta have.
So you need fresh wings.
Yes.
At Magic City. I guess if we're going there, we might as well go to Magic City.
If the smoke is not coming off the wings, I can't compare to the wings to the best wings I've ever had. And these are the sorts of wings, based on what we hear, that are in the running for like, man, these are going to be as good of wings as you've had.
Let's put it in the plans for KFS 2027. How's that? When we
That's
can
a
just
long
take
time. I don't know if I can wait that long.
2026. I'm saying road trip type of stuff, and well, we'll discuss is what we'll do.
Yeah, I like that.
Hi, Dad.
My daughter loves wings too, so I'm sure she'd like to be along for that trip as well.
Oh, there you go. Family trip to the Magic City.
Actually, could you look up on their website, see if they have a kids menu?
I'm really about to do this. I'm gonna let you read Busy's comments, and we'll go on from there.
Hi, Busy. We killed Thibs for lack of in-game adjustments. Got to praise him for that timeout and getting the team back on track. Some people do kill Thibs for lack of in-game adjustments. Yeah. I thought the criticism, it was tough to criticize him early because they had a great first quarter. Throughout the middle portion of the game, I didn't think they were going at Trae enough. And then, again, broken record, shout out to Benji for pointing this out via text, on the back-to-back Quickley buckets in the fourth quarter, and actually maybe a few more after that, they were going at Trae. So, I mean, you could say that's another adjustment in and of itself. They went at him like every possession last game. They definitely didn't do it as much today. But yeah, I mean, look, whatever he said, whatever he did, whatever adjustments he made, it worked because they got this win. What a win. What a freaking win. Good win. Busy with another one. By the way, I love Julius. Never doubted him for a second. How's that gummy order coming?
So I'm on the Magic City website looking at their menu, and unfortunately,
cookies after this.
Yeah, indeed, yes. It doesn't look like they have a kids menu.
That's a shame.
They do have a vegetarian menu for those of you that want to eat healthy while you're enjoying the entertainment.
I mean, look, you got to have. It's 2023. You got to give people options.
Listen, plant-based, and you pay in singles. Anyway,
thanks, Andrew. Abdoulaye Diallo, what's going on, man? Why do play less zone against us now? Why do teams play less zone against us now? Because typically you shoot your way out of a zone, and the Knicks, lo and behold, we criticize the hell out of them, but they went into this game 10th in 3-point frequency. They put up 34 threes tonight. If you give the Knicks open threes, they do kind of fire away. They don't want to. So, I don't know. I'm actually surprised. Maybe listen, small sample size, only 11 games. So maybe it's just like the Celtics, they certainly don't need to play zone. We've played them twice. The Hawks showed a little bit of zone tonight. Maybe that's probably why you're bringing up the question. I don't know. I think the Knicks are better at busting the zone. I think they have, they're prone to over dribbling, and dribbling is the worst thing you could do against the zone, but they also are smart. And it's so weird. They have good passers. They don't have great passers. They have good passers. They have a lot of good passers. And they can move without the ball. I don't know. If I was an opponent, I'd probably play more zone against the Knicks, but yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. I remind me, Andrew, maybe to write it down to ask Benji next time we have a conversation on here. HushZ, good to see Julius back, but man, Grimes, we need him. They need him. They also need him to be a little bit better, I think, than he was tonight. I know he's man down, tough to. I don't want to. I hope he's back. They do need him. To be very clear, they need him, but they need him to be his best version. And there were some really frustrating moments tonight with him. Been an up and down season for Grimes. Not a bad season. Not bad by any stretch. And like, if we got news tomorrow that he's like out for 6 weeks, I'd be apoplectic. Would not be happy at all. That would be a real hit. Like, Grimes is one of those guys, unlike maybe some other guys in the league, where like, yeah, maybe he's working through some stuff right now. I want him to work out that stuff on the court, because Grimes to me is a very clear example of a guy who is a value add, even when he's a little off, or even when things, or when he's not doing maybe exactly what you'd love him for him to be doing. Defensively, effort, and obviously the threat of his shooting, because teams are always going to guard him. So yeah, they need him. They need him for sure.
So we're gonna close the loop. Shout out to Mr. With A W, Sean, who texted me and said, "I've had Magic City's lemon pepper Lou Williams wings. You can get them to go." And then I asked a follow-up question: is it drive-side pickup or curbside pickup? And he said, "No, you have to go inside. Tell John that you can get them to go, but there's no curbside service. Man up."
Listen.
I think that's more for me than it is for John.
I'll take one for the team and go in and obtain the order. But maybe we just eat them in the car right there.
Why wouldn't we go home? Oh, you need them. You want them fresh, is what you're saying. You want them hot. You want them fresh. Got it. We have closed the trip to Magic City loop. We will report back if this trip to Magic City ever happens.
We got to get that on video. That would actually get me to use like Instagram or whatever if we did that trip. Haitian FERG, much love to Jessica. I love the little thing you guys got going on. That's great. I love KFS. We bring people together. Shout out to Haitian. Shout out to Jess. Love you guys. Robert Cross, Godman is God, man. Hashtag 53 wins. Goddamn right he is. I said it to Fred earlier tonight. I was like, because they do, we're not there yet. We're probably 15 games away, maybe 20 games away from all the national pods and sites and whatnot doing their, cursory, let's have an all-star conversation. There's the locks. There's the serious conversation about who deserves there's the locks. There's like the not quite locks, but like they're going to be on, but we'll talk about them. Then there's these are the toughest guys to take up the last few spots, guys. And then there's the category 4, which is like also deserves a mention. I said it before, and I will say it now. If fucking Nick Claxton last season was we got to mention him guy, then I'll be damned if Mitchell Robinson isn't a we got to mention him guy for the All-Star game this year. Has to be. Again, he's not going to make it. I get it. But, like, mention his name in the conversation. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you as always. Drazov, what's going on, Drazov? Feels like Dante has amped up our guys' stealing ability, like they're finding the ball more and knocking it out away from the basket more. He is a live wire player. So DiVincenzo tonight, 2 steals to go with 3 or 4 turnovers. I will just say that 4 turnovers for a player who plays 22 minutes and is not a predominant ball handler on the team is not going to endear him to the heart of one Tom Thibodeau. Look, I do think he adds something. I think he's had, Benji said this on the post game after Boston, and I agree. Like, you could say he's been underwhelming, but I think what you're kind of angling at here is you see the good, right? You see the good on offense. You see the shooting when it's good, it looks really good. When he puts the ball on the floor, when he cuts, he can make a nice little pass. He had actually a really nice finish today. I know he struggled finishing with the ball this year. He had a really nice finish tonight. And then you see the stuff on offense with the steals and everything, getting into passing lanes and the whole thing. And you see the outline of a guy who, like, man, if he could kind of eliminate some of this other stuff, would really, and that's, but again, why was he available for the middle level exception? He's available for the middle level exception because he's never fully been able to put it all together. He probably came the closest last year, but he was with Golden State, where you want to talk about a basketball situation that makes role players look as good as they're ever going to look, and really can. And the other thing about that, you could turn the ball over a million times in Golden State, and nobody bats an eyelash because all of them turn it over a million times. So, going into tonight, I'm just looking it up. All right, to his credit, only was turning it over 1.1 turnovers a game going into tonight. So he had 4 tonight. That average will obviously go up, but I like what he brings. I think he had a good game tonight. 4 turnovers, yes. I thought he had a good game. Thanks, Drazov. Dom with another one. Dom Cappuccitti. John, Thibs needs 1 star tomorrow. Nah, coaches don't get stars. Just off the strength of the timely timeout. Well, I mean, if you didn't call a timeout there, the game was over. RJ, get your 9 hours before Friday and don't fuck around with these next 2 fellas. Proud fan. I'm not even going to say it out loud because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like, man, I didn't have a great feeling about this one going into it. Once it kind of was started to trend that like RJ's, we probably would have gotten some positive something about RJ. And then we got closer and closer to game time, and I'm like, oh, RJ's not playing tonight. I don't feel great about this. And so, and then as the game went on, honestly, by the time we got to, there was a moment that in the first, even honestly in the second quarter when the Hawks like came all the way back and tied it in the first quarter, I was like, man, that's not a great sign. And then in the beginning of the fourth quarter, where the Knicks, I think they had the lead in the beginning of the fourth quarter. And yeah, they had 87-81 lead going into the fourth quarter. IQ hit that big 3 at the end of the third. Really big 3 in the moment. And then they had a couple of possessions early in the fourth where they had like, I think Quickley actually had a look at the rim. There was another possession where they got an offensive rebound. They couldn't convert anything. Where it looked like they could get that double-digit lead back, and they didn't. And I'm like, man, it feels like that's going to come back to bite us. And then the Hawks made their push and then went ahead. And I was just like, man, they're not winning this freaking game. So to get this, and now you got these next 2 against Washington and Charlotte. And I have a funny feeling that Charlotte game is going to be a tough game. You know, less than 24 hours. I mean, they're going to have the tip off of that Charlotte game is going to be about 20 hours after the end of the Washington game. If there was ever a don't fuck around game, it's the Washington game on Friday night. Like, my God. Please don't have no starter or should play in the fourth quarter in that game. Thanks, Tom. Drazov felt like yesterday Mitch was the one shining hope for fans. Feels like yesterday that Mitch was the one shining hope for fans before RJ was drafted. He deserves all the recognition he could get. Thank you for that comment. I really appreciate that because, as I'm sure some of you remember, my first year doing this, doing the pods, was Mitch's rookie year. And, it was 17 wins. And it was not a ton of fun with the losses, but Mitch gave us something. Mitch gave us something to be excited about. Mitch gave us something to look forward to. Every night, like, what could he do? Is he going to come out and he's going to block 10 shots tonight? Like, I don't know. He's going to, but he was just, at the very least, amidst this shit show of a 17-win team, he was something you got to look forward to, which is why it was so freaking frustrating that, like, Enes Kanter would be taking the man's minutes, but whatever. I digress. Kevin Danishevsky with another one. Thumbs down on Wally and Gus, especially on Wally. Please do better. Come on, Gus was good, and I don't want to. I don't want to be unkind. Wally was fine. Be nice to Wally.
Just by the way, and I just realized this because I'm doing 2 pregame pods back to back. Charlotte's also playing on Friday.
Are they?
Yeah, so it's a Charlotte back to back as well as a Knicks back to back.
And which one of these is the Washington game is the in-season tournament game.
Yeah, Washington plays the Bucks on Friday too. Excuse me, Charlotte plays the Bucks on Friday.
I don't think it matters who they play.
I'm just saying, like, we're playing what I think is the worst or one of the worst teams in the league. They're playing a team that will probably get Giannis back on Friday. Shout out to Jason M for the reminder in the chat. So both teams are facing the same circumstances of a game 24 hours apart. And I believe, so the only thing I'll say is Charlotte doesn't have to travel. They're at home for both of these games.
Yeah, I think I wrote it into. I'm just looking at the schedule. Wrote it in the newsletter today.
Damn, Charlotte also plays Monday like the Knicks, and they're playing Boston. The schedule making this season.
It's just I don't like it. But what I was gonna say, in part because of the schedule, like 5-4 in the second 9. So they had the first 10, they got the 5-5. The next 9 is all we have. We don't have the 10th game. That we don't know who the Knicks are going to play in Game 20 this year. Like what they may be in Vegas, they may, or actually no, sorry, the quarterfinals aren't in Vegas, right? I think the quarterfinals are probably in like whatever team's home court, and then maybe it's the semis in Vegas, whatever. We don't know whether they're going to be a quarterfinalist in the in-season tournament or whether they're going to play a game that has not been scheduled yet. Either way, just looking at these next 9 after the first 10. I was of the opinion that 5-4 would be like, okay, you want 6-3. Obviously, you want 6-3, and better than 6-3. You're dancing in the streets, but like 5-4. So like that's another reason to get this game tonight. You know, and now you got some bad teams in this next 8, and you know, you give yourself a little bit of a cushion.
Minnesota, their Monday opponent, is currently losing by 21 to.
I have the game on 133 to 111. I have not been able to obviously pay attention to it, but I've had it on. It's been a consistent drubbing, pretty much all the way through. Which is like, look, Phoenix is at home. Phoenix is supposed to be awesome. It's nice to see them show up. The weird thing, I guess, is this is the first real chink in the armor for Minnesota's defense, which obviously has been the number 1 defense in the league. And but something I didn't realize today until I heard it on the get your drink ready on the low post with was Pelton on today? Is it Pelton or Arnovitz? I get that Kevin's confused. Best opponent 3-point shooting luck in the league, Minnesota. So their defense is very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but like teams are not hitting anything, and I'm curious if Phoenix has actually made any threes against them tonight. I'll look that up now. You want to get to the next chat? Hamdi M. Amazing how far Mitch has come. A few years ago, Capella outplays him 100%. 15 rebounds to 3 rebounds. I'm buying him Mitch jersey. Capella only had 3 rebounds tonight. Man, Mitchell Robinson. What can you say? And listen, some people will always wonder, what if they had Mitch for the playoff series 3 years ago? It's an interesting what if.
Counterpoint. Some people also wonder, what if we had Jalen Duren?
God bless those people. By the way, Phoenix tonight, 55% from deep. They've 17 of 31. Shooting 60% from the field. So, yeah, there you go. Regression. Regression's a bitch. Dom Cappuccitti, again, Dom, you're too much, man. Thank you. I never lose faith completely, but it gets tested at times. I have to remind myself that sometimes the 5 minutes is still enough for a comeback. God bless this effing team. Go get your prediction, John. Did I predict? I predicted
3-0.
I predicted 3-0.
So now you got a real shot.
Look, I thought about one after I knew he was going to take 2 and 1. So I didn't give it much thought, but I at least I did think about 1 and 2.
But you went
3
optimistic with your life, and I'm proud of you for that.
Nothing wrong with a little optimism. Gihuber Then. Great win. Happy for Julius Randle. Grimes' issue is that he has too much basketball IQ. You know, you might be on something. It might sound crazy, but you might be on something. He clearly thinks the game at a very high level and maybe less reacting, you know? He needs to play dumber. Don't kick out. Take the floater. I mean, here's the thing that, like, you can't teach aggression. And, like, I know aggression gets kind of a bad rap in the league today because we want unselfishness. We want guys that, you know, don't need the ball to be successful. Like, everybody always wants to shoot and the whole thing. Aggression is a skill. And it's weird because, like, I'm not going to say Grimes isn't aggressive because there are times where it's like, not even there are times when he has a sliver of space, he shoots it. Like, how many times have we seen Grimes have an open three and not shoot it? He shoots them. That's what he's supposed to do, and he does it. He does it. I want to be very clear about that. He does it. But there is a hesitancy there in other moments. Young player also. Let's just hit the brakes. Young player. 3rd year in the league. You know, and his rookie year was kind of a lost cause. Not anything he did, just with injuries and, like, he wasn't even in the rotation. So, like, again, I cannot emphasize this enough, and I should have said this at the top. Quentin Grimes is going to be fine. Like, Quentin Grimes is good, and he's going to get better. He's going to be fine. It just hasn't been great. It hasn't been I'm not even going to say it hasn't been perfect this year. He could be better. That's fine. Like, he's a young player. He'll get better. He'll be awesome. He'll be awesome. Mike McNamara, John, what do we need to do to take the next step? How long you got? You know what? I'll share a thought. Rare occurrence that I have a cogent thought, but I'll try here. I was watching, and I know this is a divisive guy for a variety of reasons. I was watching the Pacers, both of the last Pacers games against the Sixers. They won one, they lost one. They won yesterday. They won the previous one, or lost the previous one. I was looking at Halliburton and thinking to myself, man, is the most important thing you have in the game today a guy who checks these 3 boxes? He can function perfectly fine as an off-ball player in terms of, like, if there is a top 5, top 7-ish player on the team, and, like, can he play off of that other guy if that other guy has the ball? That's one box. The second box is, like, top 10 passing ability in the league, or maybe not even top 10 passing ability in the league, like top passing ability for your position, which is important because of, like, who's usually guarding you. And, like, you know, was Draymond ever a top 5 passer in the league? I don't know. He was definitely the best passing forward, or him or LeBron James, for most of his career. You know, so, like, can function off ball, is a great passer. And then the third box is, like, just whether it's being the shooting, willingness to shoot, ability to shoot, that comes with being a good off-ball player. But, like, you can create a little bit, right? I wish the Knicks had somebody like that, because I feel like you look at almost every champion / NBA finalist really going back the last decade, and whether it's LeBron or a Draymond or, you know, a Jimmy Butler, you want to talk about great passers for their position. You know, go back to that Spurs team in 2014. Jokic, obviously, more recently. You know, Chris Paul made the finals with Phoenix. I'm sure there's one or two other teams I'm forgetting. Like even the role like Kyle Lowry played, like perfect compliment to Kawhi. Really good passer, can obviously can create, off ball fine, like the whole thing. Wish the Knicks had somebody like that, and it's like, of course, like because fucking 30 teams want somebody like that. And I just wonder in the league today, when you're talking about combining stars and winning at the highest level with like your combination of stars, I feel like it's hard to overcome not having one of those guys. Like Milwaukee did it 3 years ago, but they had just so much talent, and Giannis was just playing at such an obscene level that they kind of overcame not having one of those guys. And by the way, they almost lost, to Brooklyn, which is a team that was much more cohesive of an offensive unit, in the half court certainly. But like, yeah, I don't. And it's funny because the other thing I was thinking about today when I was having this thought is like, who's the best passer on the Knicks, or who's the best positional passer on the Knicks? Like Quickley or Brunson is probably the best passer, but like can RJ Barrett grow to be like the best positional passer, like in comparison to other players at his position? Could he be better than like Brunson or Quickley, like because you're comparing those guys to point guards and combo guards. You're comparing RJ to like wings and forwards, just like you're comparing Randle to forwards. I don't know. I feel like the Knicks need a guy like that. And maybe they have one already. Maybe Brunson keeps getting better. I thought Brunson threw some brilliant passes tonight. So I'll end this very long-winded thing that you were probably not asking for at all. You were probably just asking for like very simple answer. But like, of all the individual skills or areas of their game, if I could pick one thing for one player on the Knicks to get better at, I think I would pick Brunson to get to the next level as a passer. Because he's already gotten there as a shooter. He has become one of the most willing three-point shooters in the game, and accurate. I mean, Jesus Christ, how accurate is he? And variety of shots, catch and shoot, pull-ups, off the dribble, the whole thing. So that part of his game is coming along. If he could reach one more notch as a passer, boy, oh boy, would that make it so much easier to foresee him being that number two to your prototypical number one. I think he could get there. Zach, what's going on? Zach Halovic. Mitch might be the most unstoppable five against other traditional fives. Yeah, I mean, unstoppable in the ways he's unstoppable. He's not unstoppable like an Embiid or a Jokic is going to be unstoppable, but in the ways he's what he's good at, he's great at. And he's good at a lot of things. Jason Feldman, what's going on, Jason? Gus Johnson feels like while he goes out of his way to hype up Randle, even in undeserved moments, I am naming my firstborn Mitch. RJ on the bench? ? I don't know what the RJ on the bench ?
He's saying RJ was on the bench at the end of the game. I don't know if you noticed that, but RJ was in a hoodie and like hugging his teammates after the game.
I did not, but I'm happy it points out. He pointed
Jason,
that out.
They said he's traveling with the team. I guess he's not healthy enough to play. I think wearing a hoodie like that indoors means you're like sick and you're still getting over something. So
I do think Wally has gone out of his way to praise some interesting Knicks over the years. I'm fine with him shedding some love to Julius. Julius gets a lot of heat, so I'm not going to kill Wally for that. But I appreciate the comment at the same time. All right, let's keep it going here. Sam Garcia's dad, is it fair and reasonable to say F Trae Young, hashtag F Trae Young? Yes, it is. Thank you, Sam Garcia's dad. Appreciate you. Danny Gardner, Grimes has a lot to love about his game and attitude and has a ton of talent, but he will only be a role player until he learns to be strong with the ball. Freddie Katz, what did I call him? Freddie. Fred Katz of The Athletic mentioned in his article today that Grimes has the 3rd or 4th lowest usage rate among starting perimeter players in the NBA. That's partially a function of who he's in the starting lineup with, and it's partially a function of him. You know, I don't want to criticize him. When I think about criticizing him, I go back to like, man, we're asking a 3rd-year player to be stronger with the ball, which I don't disagree with you on. I've been talking about it all night, so clearly I don't disagree with you. I opened the show by saying I need to see more from Grimes, so I'm not disagreeing. But like, think about what we're asking: 3rd-year player, young player, playing with 3 ball-dominant guys, asked to fill a very specific role with a coach who is very demanding and is like, know your fucking lane and stay in your lane unless you could prove to me that you deserve another lane, then we'll talk. And like, with all that, it's like he's supposed to grow as a player. And oh, by the way, like the minutes aren't always guaranteed, and forget about the shots being guaranteed. It's a really tough spot. It's a tough spot, which is why when you have games where it's like, man, could have been a little bit better tonight, Grimes. Wish we could have seen more. We're asking a lot, and I don't know that we're being completely fair. And when I say we, I mean me, predominantly. Thank you, Danny. Robert Cross with another one. First time, long time. John, I don't want Cat. Neither do I. I don't want Levine. Neither do I. I don't want to see tweets about rumored interest in Cat or Levine. Hashtag 53 wins. I don't think you're going to see rumored interest in Levine. I mean, Cat is that's more a Minnesota thing, where if like, I'm just going to say it right now, if Minnesota like loses a series in the second round this year and it's like not the most competitive series in the world, and there's any reason to doubt whether this current iteration of the team can eventually get to like a championship level, they're going to move Cat. They're going to move him. It's happening. And then it's a matter of, okay, well, who are the takers? What are they offering? What's the best deal for the Wolves? But again, that's an off-season thing. So you got however many months of peace and quiet. Frank Miranda, what's up? Back at your boy Frank for Patreon. Great win, not being hyperbolic, but has anyone committed more fouls on three-point shooters than IQ this year? Come on. Quickley is not perfect. He is allowed to make mistakes. We expect perfection from him because we so often get something close to perfection from him, or at the very least, a guy who takes nothing off the table. So when he has games where he takes stuff off the table, like again tonight throughout the game, some kind of I'll use that word again, indecisive, meandering, if you want to use it, offensive possessions, and then something like that. Like, yeah, it's a little jarring, but it's not crazy. Zach Halilovic again. The eye test shows me as the offense trends up, the defense trends down. Am I wrong? I think they played the 6th ranked offense in the league this year. That's what I think. Tonight they played the 6th ranked offense in the league. So and I thought, honestly, I didn't think they defended poorly tonight. I mean, I know they gave up 114 points. Like, Bogi got going. Man, this team, the Hawks, I know people don't want to hear me sit here and praise the Hawks, but like they offer a lot of freaking issues, especially now that Murray and Trae have gotten really comfortable together. I think those two guys play really nicely off of each other. And then you throw in Bogi, who's like a perfect complement to really either of those guys. And then you got this like the Jalen Johnson who's coming along, and like, they got other guys who can hit threes, and then Capella is usually a problem. Okongwu has been kind of underwhelming, but he's good too. Like, they're a good offense. I'm looking to see if anything is updated yet. Yeah, we updated. We're down. We're tied with the Rockets now. at 4th in defensive rating. It says we're ranked 5th, but we have a 108.1 defensive rating, and offensive rating actually went up a spot, 112.7 to 13th, and net rating is at 4.5, 7th in the league. Knicks are good. Let me say. Drew P said meant 2021, the team won through grit and good Julius Randle. Important clarification, Drew. Thank you. I agree. This did feel more like a 2021 win, for sure. Danny Gardner. They can pull IQ and RJ early. This is, I think, going back to the starting lineup thing. Bring in Dante and Hart and bring them back out together to start the second. Give Deuce Dante's minutes. Give Deuce Dante's minutes. I don't know. I guess I don't know in what context you're saying that. If like Grimes must have missed time.
I think he's saying if Grimes is out, this is how you adjust. Yeah. You have RJ and Quickley start, and then have Dante and Hart come for both, and then have all four come in with the second unit, and then. Although where does I guess Quickley would then give Dante's minutes? I'm confused too, now that I think about it.
Well, no, I'm just thinking like, so basically you're pulling Quickley and RJ at the same time, and you're bringing in Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo like midway through the first. Like, what? This is all in response to what? It's all in response to Grimes being underwhelming. I got to stand my ground here because it's like, okay, I think this team has enough invested in Grimes already and moving forward that, like, I want to see Grimes as a starter work. Because to me, if you pull the plug on Grimes as a starter now, I wouldn't feel great about that. That, again, nothing's permanent. It doesn't mean they don't like him, but, like, I like that they're invested in this kid and they want to make it work. And it's like Quickley, there are people around the league who already recognize Quickley as a top 50 player. It's not like Quickley needs to start to, like, get more shots or, like, Quickley tonight didn't start and played, I'm going to guess he played 30 minutes. Played 28 minutes. Okay. Got 11 shots, but also got to the free throw line 6 times. So he had a lot of shooting possessions. I'm standing my ground, Danny. I'm sorry. But I appreciate you as always. Dom with another one. If RJ's back, but Grimes is out on Friday, does your gut say Dante or IQ starts or something else? Dante starts and Deuce gets rotation. A little rotation minutes. A few rotation minutes. Danny with another one. That was if Grimes was hurt. Got it. Yes. Thank you. Shawn with a W. Atlanta fans talking Trae trades and spaces. LOL. No, man. Come on. I mean, look.
Should we take 10 seconds to laugh at the Atlanta Hawks?
Nah. Look, it's what fans overreact. Fans say stupid shit, and it's what they do. Like, if the Knicks
fans, what are you talking about? The Knicks fans don't overreact. We've supported Julius through all his struggles, and this RJ performance to start the year, we're taking it in context that it's a small sample size. Yes. Like, now we get to enjoy Julius struggling and like getting through it and performing well the last 5 games.
I'll say, I think there's a really interesting conversation to be had at some point, not in reaction to a loss, about, like, whether it is worth going all in to make a Trae Young-led team work, as opposed to, like, but it's like once you open Pandora's box and you open the door to, like, hey, we might trade Trae Young, can't put that back once it's out. And, like, also, like, what do you I mean, they obviously would get something great for Trae Young, but are they getting whatever they're getting back for Trae Young? Is that immediately going to vault them into contention? Probably not. So then it's like, well, what other things can you do? And it's like, they're too far into this. Like they're not going to go back and tank. So it's a tough thing. But I get being frustrated if you're a Hawks fan.
Especially the way the game played out. They built that 7-point lead with Trae on the bench. And then Snyder went back to Trae. And like you said, Benji was bringing it up. We were pointing it out on the watch along. Like because Trae's in the game, originally they had him on Grimes. And they were just doing the guard screens. Not Grimes. They had him on Quickley. They were just doing the guard-to-guard screen. And that's how Quickley got his first 2 buckets. Yeah. And then they put him on Hart. And that's how Brunson was able to get the buckets because they were just having Hart come over to set the screen. The Knicks have figured out how to attack the Hawks when he's on the floor, and lo and behold, when he was on the floor tonight was when the Knicks were building their lead.
But it's like a different version of the Randle conversation. And I say a different version because like Randle, the conversation when he's playing poorly or even when he's playing like iffy, eventually devolves into like, what are you ever winning with this guy on your team?
Yeah.
And the version of it with Trae is different because what he brings offensively, there are stretches of games where he looks like one of the 5 best offensive players in basketball, and that's a real thing. Like there aren't many people who could do all of the things that he could do as well as he could do them. But then with the difference between him and Julius is Julius maybe never reaches those heights, but there's a bit more of a Julius also, it's not like every game we're looking at an ass. Like there are games that Julius has where for 48 minutes, you're like, man, if that guy did that every game for 48 minutes, shit, he could absolutely be a key component of a contender. Whereas every single game Trae Young plays, there's a lot of moments where you're like, well, how are we ever going to get around this issue? And yeah.
I think the only counterpoint to that I'm not even speaking on behalf of Hawk fans. I'm just saying by the limited Hawks games I've watched, even in games he has it going, the other team knows what to attack.
That's my point. That's precisely my point.
So that's the tough part, which is why outside of one weird season when Julius Randle self-combusted and Ben Simmons self-combusted, he has made it out of the first round once. So.
And the only last thing, very briefly, because I know we're going long here, is like this might be an issue even if he was a perfect offensive player, and he's not a perfect offensive player because for as much as there are those stretches where he looks like a top 5 or 10 offensive guy in the sport, there are other stretches where it's like, Jesus Christ, Trae, stop pulling up from deep. Like you don't have it tonight. Like stop it. And like we are slowly arriving at the point where the efficiency conversation, which I know you talked about with HawksFanTV last time, and he kind of poo-pooed it, which I was like, that's an interesting thing to poo-poo. Like it's a valid conversation.
It's a thing. He's gonna have to justify what he is on defense and his shot selection by being Dame or being Steph Curry. The reason Halliburton is able to be poor on defense is because like he's so efficient offensively and he doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah. So
I'm actually looking up his points for shot attempt on cleaning. Here, you want to read the next super chat?
Anthony Sixto. I could have looked up cleaning glass, but you could do what you want to do. Anthony Sixto. No chokeholds, torn jerseys, just the team stacking W's in the face of slumps and injuries. Experienced this last season when Mitch went out. This type of perseverance usually leads to good things.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Team has a lot of character. And they don't like if you think about a team that could have
John, did John get stuck in the Matrix for anybody else?
Oh, am I back? I'm back, right?
I can hear you. Your connection dropped. Okay.
But now you can see me too?
Now I can see you. Yes. Now that movie stinks. Now you see me too. The first one's okay.
Now you see me.
There's Now You See Me, the Mark Ruffalo, Jesse Eisenberg.
Never saw it. I know the movie. I never saw it.
Yeah, the first one's not bad. The second one's awful.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Trae Young is 106.8 PSA.
That's what I was gonna say. So 2 years ago, he was 96th percentile. 2 years ago, it was when he made the All NBA team, right?
Second team All NBA. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, with like a fake line where 98th percentile usage, 96th percentile efficiency, 98th percentile assist percentage. He was a top 5 offensive player in the league. Last year, assist and usage still good, 63rd percentile efficiency. And currently, again, assist and usage still very high, 29th percentile efficiency.
Yeah.
Which is like, and he last 2 years, he's kind of turned the ball over a lot too, so it's not what you want. Getting back to Anthony's comment, if there was ever a time where this team should have devolved into anarchy, it was last season at the 23-game mark or whereabouts, and they didn't. Drazov, I don't hope the Hawks get injured. I just hope they forget how to shoot a basketball for the rest of their year. I would, if I could adjust my preseason predictions, I think I would put Indiana ahead of the Hawks. I tell you, nobody's going to want to hear this. You know what I'd love to get odds on right now? I'd love to get odds on the Pacers as a top 4 seed. I'd like to see the odds. I'd like to see what the numbers are there. Just for shits and giggles. But I think the Pacers will finish ahead of the Hawks. I know you hate this, Andrew, but why?
You have to be able to stop the other team too.
Unless you're the best offense in the league.
No, you do need to be able to stop the other team. Best offenses in the league are just that. They're offenses.
Kings
when the Hawks had that seed in a Western Conference that couldn't get out of its own way because the Lakers were doing stuff and the Warriors were doing stuff and the Suns were doing stuff. Like, that's the version of the best offense getting the 3 seed.
Okay. If you got right now plus 2,000 is plus, right?
Well, that's different. If you're just saying like
that's what I mean. I'm just saying.
Okay, if you're saying get long shot odds, then fine.
20-1. Would you bet 20-1 odds on the Pacers getting a top 4 seed?
Yes. I also recognize. Okay, if that's the argument, then fine.
That's it.
If you're saying long shot odds, that's fine. I don't think they're.
It's not 100-1. I'm saying 20-1.
As long as you're not saying like.
And I'm not saying like 10-1.
I think it's going to happen. No, they should be good odds. You just want to see what the odds are. That's
no. If I could make real money off of it, I would probably,
Okay, no, that's engagement ring money. That's fine. I get it. That's engagement ring money. I don't disagree with engagement ring money. You got it.
There you go. As I'm watching the Cavs are only up by 8 on the freaking Blazers right now in the third quarter. I don't know how I got off track. Yeah, but Atlanta, they'll be 6-7, maybe 8, whatever. They'll be fine. They're a good team. First super chat of the season, Bernard Richardson. What's going on, Bernard? But been here every game. Listen, we appreciate the super chat so much. It kind of allows us to do what we do. Thank you. But like, if don't ever, I feel like sometimes people feel bad that they don't send in super chats. We love you being part of the community and watching and listening and the whole thing. Loving the watch alongs this season too. We've enjoyed doing them. I can't wait to do my next one. I have watched KFS evolve for 4 years now. Good win. An aspiring 50-win team needs to get these. Keep stacking. Really kind comment. Thank you, Bernard. As far as an aspiring 50-win team, man, kind of want to bring Andrew back up here. What odds would I need to bet on the Knicks to win 50 games this year right now, today?
Well, with them being 6-5 and what are they at 12?
Would I bet on it at 10-1?
I would. Yeah, at 10-1, yeah.
I think you'd have to bet on it at 10-1.
Like the way they've tracked so far this season, because they're a top 10 defense and they're trending toward a top 10 offense. That's toward a 50-win team. Especially with as much as we talked about parity, there's some separation being built between some teams at the bottom of the Eastern Conference and the rest of the Eastern Conference. Detroit hasn't won since.
No, I know.
Like they're lost 9 straight. They haven't lost since October, or haven't won since October. Excuse me.
I think 5-1 is where I would think about 5-1. I wouldn't go below 5-1. Like I don't think I'd bet at 4-1.
Fair.
Thanks, Bernard. Anthony Sixto with another one. Proposal: you and Claudio live stream from Magic City blindfolded while you live review the Wings. Dilemma solved.
Here, hold on. My wife just woke up. Babe,
This is gonna be good.
Knicks Film School faithful wants us to do a live like taste test of the Magic City Wings, which is a strip club in Atlanta. Can I go?
For scientific purposes.
For scientific purposes. Can I go? The half awake wife of mine just shook her head and said, "I don't care. Do what you want." That's
married life, man.
That's married life. You and your nonsense. Leave me alone. Oh, blindfolded, by the way, babe. So I have to be blindfolded in the strip club. She said, okay.
I like the blindfold aspect of it because you don't, and you try to guess the flavor of the wings.
There you go.
Yeah, I haven't had good wings in a while. Jessica Elsner with another one. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. He's not great at it, but props to Julius for all the behind-the-back pass attempts. Best game of the season for him, and all hail Blockness Monster. Can we give some love to Julius Randle? We allowed to do that? Tonight, Julius, pull up his stat line here. I know I started out by praising Mitch. Julius really does deserve some consideration for the 3-star player. 29 points, 12 of 24 from the field. Only got to the line twice, but I kind of feel like that's not his fault. Again, I didn't like the whistle tonight at all. The Knicks got to the line 11 times, and 6 of those were by Quickley in the final couple minutes. So, yeah, 29 on 24 shots, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 turnover. That's set the tone early. Big plays late. Man, he's going to be in contention for 3 stars. I don't know. That's an all-star performance from Julius Randle, who has now had, don't look now, but he's had as many good games this season as he's had, or like decent or good games as he had awful games. Because the first Atlanta game wasn't a bad game. It was the one game in that opening, whatever it was, 6, that was not bad. So more decent or good games than bad. Danny Gardner, always amazed by how bad Trae is defensively. Baldy is a total loser. That's unfortunate. Thank you, Danny. I'm not amazed because he doesn't seem to care as much as he should. And it's not just the physical stuff. The physical stuff is part of it. He doesn't strike me as a guy who, because like Brunson has physical issues to overcome. And who's been great this year? Not great, but like good, passable this year defensively? Jalen Brunson. A lot more moments tonight. I hope I could fit the clip in the newsletter tomorrow of that play that I was referring to earlier where him and Mitch defended a DeJounte Murray pick and roll late. And I thought Brunson fighting harder. I mean, all year long, he's fighting around those screens. Got to want to do that. You got to care. You got to give a shit about winning and not just numbers. I'm not saying Trae only cares about numbers, but, thanks, Danny. Dom with another one. Dom, you're a crazy man. He's a crazy man, Danny. Quoting a few good men. Last question of the night. It's been a debate for me today. Does Leon deserve a black eye with the Mark Jackson publicity, or was he just put in a terrible spot? I side with the latter. Oh, man, I was wondering if we're going to get a Mark Jackson question. I'm going to choose my words carefully here. I have a tough time commenting on this because based on what I have read that has been reported about some of Mark Jackson's stances on things that have nothing to do with basketball, I have a very hard time being like even keeled when I assess like this situation, which again doesn't appear to have anything to do on the surface with like any of that stuff. At the same time, this issue, where for anybody who maybe listening doesn't know what I'm talking about, where Mark Jackson was supposed to do some like fill in for Clyde a little bit this year, and then reportedly, I think it was reported by the Post, the Knicks were like, yeah, we don't want him riding on the team plane, and he was like, "Screw this, I'm not doing the games because I'm not flying commercial." The reason they didn't want him running on the team plane is because Darren Erman, who was an assistant coach under Mark Jackson in Golden State, didn't feel comfortable with it. And the reason he didn't is because he was fired in Golden State by Mark Jackson after he recorded conversations featuring Mark Jackson, and Mark Jackson felt that was inappropriate. The whole reason that situation started was because of reportedly, famous last words, reportedly, Mark Jackson doing some really batshit crazy shit. Batshit crazy shit? Can we say that? A lot of shits. In Golden State when he was the head coach. And having that situation devolve into, like, again, there's been a lot of reporting on that and a lot of good writing on that. And just go out and read it. Just easy Google search. It'll take you 5 minutes to read it. All the stuff that's out there on it. It won't take you 5 minutes to read all the stuff. It'll take you 5 minutes to get an idea. So, like, I don't blame anyone for not wanting him to be on the same plane as the guy that he had this situation with. The thing that I find interesting is that, like, who forgot to do their research here? Where it was like, oh, wait a minute. There's a history here that is not good. And, like, maybe we should clear this hire, Mark Jackson filling in for Clyde some games, with, like, I don't know, the coaching staff. My guess, and I have zero inside information on this, but my guess is that, like, this kind of, like, fell through the cracks, and then, or maybe either one of two things happened. It fell through the cracks, and then people realized, like, oh, wait a minute, that means Jackson would be, like, involved with a guy that he had this situation with. Like, that's not good. Either that, or they went to the coaching staff about it. The coaching staff was like, whatever, have him call the games. We don't care. And then as it went along, it was like, well, he's going to have to ride the team plane. Is that cool? And then they were like, well, wait a minute. No, that's not cool because we don't want him being around the team. Either way, I can't say I have a big issue with it. Like, it's not a great look for it to have gotten to this point, and then it's like, oh, he's not allowed on the team plane. Like that, like you should have never gotten to this point. So somebody probably didn't do their job correctly. Which, you know, stuff happens. But no, I don't care about this, in short. Mike McNamara. Thanks for the well-thought response, John. Anytime. I agree. A good player, great at moving the ball with shooting would be huge. Yeah. But how many of those guys are out there, you know? It's the toughest thing to find. It really is. Ben Oken. What's going on, Ben Oken? LTFT.
I think you did it in the wrong order. It's first time, long time.
First time, long time. Thank you. It's late. Great win. I'll usually take the Thibs good over bad. Do you think his shell defense can win a chip? I hate the open threes of the lead. You got to give up something in the NBA today. It's impossible to take away everything, and you pick and choose your spots. Do I think Thibs' shell defense can win a championship? Yeah, of course. Probably would have won a championship with the Bulls if Derrick Rose didn't get injured. Which, you know, we could go back to, like, why did he get injured? Yeah, I don't really doubt Thibs' defense. I think Thibs has qualities that could hinder a team of his from winning it all. But I'm not sure his, like, base defense is I don't think his base defense is one of them. JJK, what's going on, JJK? Mitch is Shaq level dominant on the boards. It's funny you say that because Shaq was never, like, that dominant on the boards. I don't think he ever really cared about the rebounds as much as he probably could have. Draws one loose ball foul a game. Yep. And again, those don't show up on the stat sheet. F that rip through rule and Trae's whole entire play style. Grimes equals Bogi soon. I mean, that's the to me, that is, I mean, I know Clay is like the pie in the sky, Bogi, I think, is more realistic. Like sub all-star level player who probably at his peak was Bogi a top 50 player in the league? Yeah, probably. Somewhere around there. 50, 60, maybe 75. What in that range? Can Grimes be that? I mean, he needs to get better, but he's young. So, it'd be great if he got there. Danny Gardner, IQ, and JB are about average positional passers. I agree. RJ and Randle are both plus passers for their positions. I agree. Although I don't think either of them is like plus or like plus. Like they're absolutely plus for their position. Grimes is a sneaky +2. I don't know if there's enough variety, and like he's really good at making certain passes, but there to me to be like a really plus positional passer, regardless of what your position is, maybe outside of center, like you need to be able to roll more with what the defense gives you, and I think that's something that Grimes gets to work on. RJ has potential to be plus. That's kind of where I was going before. It feels like he does, and yet you let's see. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I have not given up on that. Okay. This is the one Andrew just kind of gave me a hat tip that something was coming. Will, my grandpa passed on Monday. I really wanted this one. Happy they got it for you. Sorry for your loss. You know what? I'll say, I'm not going to say too much about this, but I'll just say that like the last few days in my life have been a bit stressful. Just someone in the family was waiting on some medical news that turned out to be okay, and just I've been very much since about noon today. Been very much in a count your blessings mood. So it's funny. I was going to say something along these lines at the end of this anyway, and then we just got this comment, and just like after having nothing to do with basketball, everybody out there, especially in the times we live in, where it's like so easy to get just dragged into bullshit that means nothing and has no consequence, and it's just a waste of time. Cherish every moment. Enjoy the things that you're supposed to enjoy. Find joy maybe in even the things you're not supposed to find joy in, or are harder to find joy in. Let stuff roll off your back if it's worth rolling off your back, because none of us are guaranteed anything, and it can be so hard because it's like it's you say these things and it's like, oh, it's great advice, and then like life happens, and then you find yourself getting stressed out about the most meaningless bullshit, and you're like, I thought I was gonna take things in stride more and like appreciate the joys of life, and then you realize you don't do that. It's just it's life, but I don't know, to the extent that we have the power to control these sorts of things. Today's a day where my final thought will certainly be for everybody to just appreciate the good things and cherish those that they have that are still here, because you never know when someone that you have is not going to be here any longer. And I'm sure your grandpa was an amazing person, and hopefully he's looking down and enjoyed the win also. I don't know if he was a Knicks fan, but at the very least we get to enjoy it, so that's cool. Thank you for that. All right, first 2-hour post game of the year. There we go. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video if you indeed like the video. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, of course. And if you're listening on the podcast feed later, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. We appreciate all those things that help us out. And we'll be back. More fun and games coming later this week. It's the season. We have something rolling out every day. Post games, pre games, other shows, casual Fridays, study hall, the whole thing. We're a full service operation, so if you need someone to help you get through a day, if you're having a tough day, we're here for you. So tune in for all that, and I will see y'all after the game on Friday. Till then, take care.